welcome to Divine Sacred Tarot. This is a very specific message regarding what is pulling you away from the natural inner rhythm of life. And before I actually start, I'm gonna um, echo the words of the great sage Lao Tzu. And he mentions that, actually, just to give a little bit of brief before I echo his words, is that when we don't interfere with life in any way, it becomes highly fluid and efficient. And the more you try and force life to flow where you would like it to go, as opposed to where it wants to go, the less efficient you become and the more energy you use. And Lao Tzu echoes these words: the very softest thing of all can ride like a galloping horse through the hardest of things, like water, and like water penetrating rock. And so the invisible enters it. And that's why I know it is wise to act by doing nothing. And how very few understand this. And that actually leads on to the 35th hexagram of the I Ching, and its word is progress, because it is expressed as an outer evolutionary progress, right? We have acknowledged how much technology has improved and supported our connections all around the world. And this revolution has little to do with the physical manifestations and everything to do with the progress of human awareness, really. So we're so busy with these physical manifestations that we end up sacrificing our personal awareness in this reality. And so what Richard Rudd is explaining, it's the true progress that we need to look at must be the inner structure of humanity. So because we're so busy looking at the outer world, we sacrifice, we trade our inner awareness. And as a result, this has been the shadow frequency expands. The shadow frequency of wanting, of craving, of desiring, of hunger. And when we're constantly driven by those external human experiences, it doesn't matter what you do in whichever way, because our human body is requiring that to be satiated by the outside world, it's never going to be enough. And so our fate is sealed in the shadow aspect of chasing all the externals. And basically, we're pulling away from the inner natural rhythm of life. And what I'm hearing here is we are, as a species, hungry and unfulfilled. And most of the times, we don't know what we want. And this is why I said in yesterday's reading, there is a list of what you can understand, what you want in a partner, what you want from yourself. By understanding yourself, you're also understanding what you're attracting. Because there is, I think it was Wayne Dyer who said, you don't attract the relationship that you want, you attract the relationship that you are, like the vibrational frequency that you're vibrating at. And so basically it's saying that we have been individually programmed via our genetics. And so when we're hungry, we think of, say, for example, eating, we are possessed by the urge to fill ourselves. And it doesn't necessarily mean we're consciously aware of how to fill ourselves in the most healthiest way. We basically just eat whatever we can find. And a lot of times when people are busy, they usually say, my sleep has gone downwards, my nutrition has depleted, because at the end of the day, when we are not in this awareness of treating ourselves with care, consideration, we are then just filling ourselves because we are so empty, we're so depleted. And then that cycle continues and continues, and we're then attached to these external means of fulfillment. And it could be anything. It could be drugs, it could be food, it could be exercise, it could be anything, right? And we then blame those external things for not fulfilling our hunger per se. So we either move on to something or someone else. And that's where we end up in this cycle of basic disappointment, blame in the human spirit. There is a reason why when people find disappointments in a relationship, they blame collectively the masculines. And I've been there myself. I've continued to hear this from clients. They chalk the disappointment to the whole gender. And then basically, we want to destroy that, whether it's the person, religion, or the drug. We then blame that source of disappointment rather than taking accountability of what we have become addicted to. And so when we're blaming other things, we're basically drugging our own serotonin. And what I mean by that is serotonin fuels our hunger even more, right? And even if we experience a brief period of those higher frequencies, we want more of those higher frequencies. We want to be desired. We want to be given attention. We want to be given love. We want to go on those adventures and we want to go on holidays and we want the next promotion. Everything that I'm talking about is external. And that's the external version of the serotonin that we're trying to feed ourselves. But the only way to address or redress the basic chemical imbalance that we're feeding is to first understand this chemical dilemma and face it within every fiber of our being. And so when we're realizing what's happening in the external, when we're understanding that there is this genetic craving from the shadow frequency, that we then acknowledge whether we starve ourselves or stuff ourselves, we're never going to solve the problem. That isn't the problem. We are then understanding how we're being held hostage by those drives in the external world. And why is this all relevant? Well, it's this new sense of awareness. It's this new sense of inner awareness. And Richard Rudd explains that the breaking through this hunger barrier that I'm using in inverted commas is to break into your heart. And the hallmark and the frequency that we need to embody is love. Love is the only force that can bring us to the end of this hunger. And with love, our serotonin production is increased and stabilized within the chemistry of our human brain. With love, we are unleashing that stored energy. And instead of it being squandered into the world, it's actually allowing the inner human being to evolve rather than the world outside of us to evolve. It's almost like we're seeing AI, we're seeing technology evolve at such a rapid rate, but the conscious awareness isn't raising as rapidly. So when we're involving our evolution of awareness, when we're stepping beyond the mental awareness and reaching to the higher realms of the heart, that's when we understand that love has nothing to do with another separate person. It is the connective tissue underlying all creation. And that love becomes the reality that you live inside of you. So once you've raised that level of progress and turned inwards instead of outwards, that is the adventure that lies within us, within our very nature, within our very being. And that is the area that we long to explore. And so basically, it's saying that we don't need to keep pumping ourselves with serotonin and dopamine from the external world. This can happen on a genetic evolutionary awareness So then we're understanding that there is a duality between the Maya or the human mind. When we are understanding this conundrum, right? We need to choose a viewpoint or remain neutral. So adventure isn't what happens when the human spirit breaks free. Pardon me, the adventure is what happens. And that is the secret. That's the true adventure. That isn't outside of us. That isn't in a place or an area. It is based upon love. The truest adventure is actually love. And when we're in this state of wholeness, when we're in this immersion of love, of oneness, we know that it can't be logically deduced. It can't be described in a logical way. It can only be felt when we have enough serotonin in our bodies. So what we're doing is we're infiltrating our bodies with serotonin and dopamine from the outside world, and we are in this imbalance. And the reason we're in this imbalance is because we keep looking outside of us. We keep looking for that relationship. We keep looking for that person. We keep looking for ways that we get to be loved unconditionally, and we forget that it needs to have this internal hormonal balance within us. And that we can change through epigenetics. And this is the greatest adventure that we can own in our conscious awareness. So let's pull some cards regarding this awareness within ourselves. So just as soon as I split the deck, we've got the High Priestess and we've got the Star card. So yes, this is the ultimate wish fulfillment. It's almost as if, having a list of things, having your vision board of what you want to do in life, that's not the epitome of awareness or love. That is everything outside of us. We've been told to have vision boards. We've been told to progress. We've been told that when are we getting married? When are you having kids? When are you having this? And we're not being comfortable enough to go on our own journey and exploration. And even when we look like we're doing nothing, in meditation, we're doing everything. And so I want, dear spirit guides, angels, ancestors, allow me to channel what these messages that we need to know regarding this internal awareness and how we can progress from this. The internal awareness has actually muted the Five of Swords. It's muted that outer conflict. It's muted the inner conflict. What else do we need to know about this present state of awareness? Wow. We have the Nine of Swords. I've never seen these two cards come out the way they have in the neutral position. We no longer blame external. We no longer blame ourselves. We are so privy. We are so equipped for doubt, for punishment within ourselves. We hurt ourselves every day with the thoughts we think. And when we're coming into this heightened sense of awareness, we're creating a new reality. And this reality is actually saying that you're naturally um, evolving this organic adventure through your inner being and you're in co-creation. So there's no more thoughts of anguish, of chaos, of drama. And you really don't need to chase that on the outside. The media still categorically have an algorithm that if it is hateful or um if it causes an angry emotion, they usually push those types of news stories out into the public because it riles the public up. And this is what politicians do. I won't get into politics, but basically it's saying that they will stay in power when they divide and conquer. So even within a certain group of ethnic minorities, they already divide that subgroup so they don't have a coup, right? So this Nine of Swords is explaining that you don't need to have all of this drama, all of this contemplation, all of this self-doubt within yourself. And that's what comes when you are finding this balance within you. What else do we need to know about this balance? Thank you, Spirit. The Eight of Cups in the inverse, you no longer need to walk away from the things that you thought would make you happy, but you can sit in contemplation of the love that you give yourself and you're releasing the burden. So the Eight of Cups in the inverse, these cards, I usually don't read reversals, but because we've got the Eight of Cups in the inverse and the Ten of Wands at the bottom of the deck, this is saying that everything falls into place when you stop resisting the flow of life. And the Nine of Pentacles is here to say there doesn't need to be this in and out energy. There doesn't need to be drama around relationships. There doesn't need to be arguments and rough sex and makeup. And if you think about all of the shows that are on TV, these reality TV shows, have you noticed the trend of that is drama, is conflict? But those are the things that we shouldn't be striving for because basically it's hitting our serotonin and our dopamine when we do have those thrills, when we do have um rough sex or whatever turns you on. It's just basically saying that you haven't uncovered the fine-tuned balance of your own inner adventure, which means you seek chaos outside of you. So this is a very, very specific message. The Four of Cups is saying you no longer are in withdrawal or regret about how your life has turned out because you trust the flow of life. And the King of Cups has come out to say the King of Cups, the Page of Cups is you're not tagging onto those emotions that make you vulnerable, that make you illogical. So it's almost as if saying these emotions come and go, these feelings come and go. I don't need to attach myself to those. What else do we need to know regarding this? We've got the Chariot in the inverse. The more you slow down, the bigger progress you're going to make. And it's also saying that you don't need to have this conflict in the outside. You don't need to have these versions of success and these narratives that the external world give you. This is a huge death and rebirth happening for both the masculines and feminines. I don't think this is going to be for everyone. I feel like a lot of people would have switched off on this reading because it's so highly specific, because it's about you moving forward and ending the cycles that kept you trapped, ending the cycles of the shadow, ending the cycles of these superficial ways that make you happy. And so, yes, literally, listen to this. We've got the Five of Wands in the neutral, the Five of Swords in the neutral, the Nine of Swords in the neutral, the Eight of Cups in the inverse, the Seven of Swords in the inverse. All of the things that all of the cards that are negative, usually in the deck, where there's conflict, where there's chaos, where there's overthinking, where there's drama, where there's conflict, where there's walking away, whether there's letting go, whether there's in and out behavior, whether there's sabotage within your mind space, that is gone with this type of energy when you address your inner being. When you are in alchemical co-creation with your body, you are at a higher level of consciousness, and that is exactly where you are going to really expand and restore the energy. And you're going to feel as if you have all of the energy as if a 20-year-old, right? We press people saying, oh, you're getting old and this is going to hurt and that's going to hurt. Who says we get to regenerate ourselves? We are not the same person cellular wise than we were a year ago. Everything regenerates. And how are we regenerating? What is the last message that we need to know from you, Spirit? The Eight of Wands. This is about movement and creation with your higher self. And as you're doing that, you're actually taking out that victim mentality. You're removing things that aren't aligned with you, and you're breaking away from those source type energies where they bring more conflict. When you're able to rest, the Four of Swords, when you're able to heighten your awareness, the Hierophant, the Six of Wands, victory, success is yours because you're no longer being played by the piper in the external. And why is all of this important? Well, you get to be exactly who you need to be and have this energy channeled in the most profound way. What I'm also seeing is you're able to communicate in ways that only a few people will understand because of your aura expanding throughout this energy. There was another message that wanted to come through as a final message, but I think they kind of left as soon as I was saying about the Eight of Wands. Yeah, it's basically that you're not being stuck in the material world of success. You're not going through the material expansion of what they want you to be, what success they want you to hold. You are forging your own path, and this was not meant for many people to hear. The Ace of Cups, thank you, Spirit. This is the unconditional love that you were looking for because you were able to look at this. The Ten of Swords is in the neutral. Every single negative in inverted commas, every single negative card has come up in the neutral or in the inverse. You literally do not know how powerful this message is because judgment is here to say there is no more karmic cycles. There are no more shadow selves. There is no more pain and heartache because you've let go of everything that is outside of you and you come to claim your true sovereignty, your true being as a human being, that you don't need to have all the outside things to fulfill you. What is the last message that we need to know regarding this restoration of energy, this balance of energy in the internal? One last card, please, Spirit. What is the advice? The World card and the Star card at the bottom of the deck. This was the all-time ultimate wish fulfillment for you and your journey because you've been given the ability to unlock a higher state of resources that isn't available to everyone because they choose to keep themselves in a superficial energy. And because you're doing the work, because you've literally clicked on this message and you're probably resonating with this, please do click the like button because it's not going to be for everyone. And I cannot believe I was able to actually channel these messages through. So thank you so much, angels, guardians, ancestors, and team. Thank you so much for all of you listening. And I'm sending so much love out to all of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to do this. Bye for now.